Imagine if you could point to a date on the calendar and you could say, well, on that date, I'm going to have made this much money. I will have this partner. I'm going to have this body. I'm going to have these things. My life's going to look like this. How much confidence would that give you? What would you approach your day like if you just knew that you were 220 days from having this life, making this money, doing these things? That is actually what I'm going to go through and explain to you today. I'm going to give you the exact plan that I am using that I straight up stole from other people who have made those kinds of leaps in their own life. I'm going to show you exactly what they did, how they used it, and how I'm going to be using it myself. Don't reinvent the wheel here. There's other people that have done this before. I'm going to give you the system that they're using. I'm going to show you how I am using it to manufacture my first $1 million year, right? And a life that I'm excited about, a bunch of goals, personal goals that I have as well. So this isn't just for, I want to make some money. If you want to make some money, if you want to get this kind of partner, this kind of body, live this kind of life, this is actually how you do it. Most people don't even get this far. It's consistent, compounded effort. And you might know that. You might have heard people say that. You might have watched a reel about that. But this is how you actually apply it and how you also are become accountable to yourself so that you know when you're off track and you're not doing it. By the end of this video, you're going to be able to set up a plan where you can look and month over month and week over week, tell yourself exactly how far on or off the path you are. And so you can course correct instead of having an idea, a couple weeks go by, you're in the same place, and then you kind of give up and you wait for another reel to get you off your ass. That's what most people do. But if you're watching this video, you're probably not most people. If you're this far in and you're still listening to me talk about this, then you're probably not most people. And I know I'm not most people. So this is going to be exciting for you like it was for me. And this isn't going to be theory. This is going to be actual tactical use cases. Okay. And then we're going to talk through how to apply it into 3 aspects of your life: health, wealth, and relationships. This is going to be tangible goals like I want to make this much money, I want to achieve this level of body fat, as well as intangible goals or goals that you can't necessarily measure the same way, right? You want to find a certain partner or you want to have a certain kind of experience, right? Those aren't necessarily things that you can kind of build up to, but we're going to explain how it actually all does work out that way, okay? My issue and the reason that I think most people fail at goal setting is because they don't even take this step. What I'm going to go through right now is probably the most important thing first. And then we'll go through the nitty gritty so that it actually makes sense to you and you can apply it. But most people, what they do is they see a reel online, they see someone with a nice car, they go, I want that car. They look up into their e-com course or something, they kind of look into it. They might watch a YouTube video or two, not do anything with it, and then it's gone. A couple weeks go by, they see another reel, they do the same thing. A year goes by like that, and they stay in the same place. That's not going to be you, because what this is going to give you is a plan that will tell you when you are off course and you can course correct. Okay? So, first thing, at a high level, what you are going to need. Number 1, you're going to need a vehicle. So this is something that you can put effort into that will generate a result. So if you have a business where you make cold calls and then you provide a service and you make $1,000 per closed deal, then you have a vehicle for making money there, right? Your inputs are cold calls, your output is $1,000 in your business. That is a vehicle. And you can scale that up, right? 10 times the amount of cold call effort equals $10,000. Simple. You need to start thinking about all of these aspects of your life, health, wealth, relationships, as vehicles. You have systems that generate results. And if you're not getting the results you want, then you have a bad system. And number 2, as part of that, you need to know what your inputs and your bottlenecks are. Okay? Your inputs are in your business. They would be cold calling in that example, right? Your bottleneck might be that you don't have enough time in the day to do more calls, right? It might have worked for you to get, 10 closed deals. You have $10,000, but now if you want to double that, you can't just simply make twice as many calls. So you need to hire someone that's a bottleneck, okay? And then number 3, start thinking about things in terms of unreasonable to fail. How much input would you need to have to make it unreasonable to fail? If you wanted to make $100,000 in a month and you are cold calling people to get businesses, how many cold calls are needed to make it unreasonable to fail, right? Because that's what you want to shoot for. You don't want to see, oh, well, we can kind of squeeze it up and get this many people. No. If it's going to take you 1 million calls to close $100,000 in a month, then you need to think of what inputs would be unreasonable to fail. Maybe you need a whole freaking call center to be calling on your behalf. That becomes the goal that you need to look for. Okay, so that's at a high level. You need to know your systems, you need to know your inputs and your bottlenecks, and you need to understand that you are looking for the unreasonable to fail path. Now, this is the most important part of the video. Most people do not even get this far. This is, in fact, most people think that they need to sit there and come up with the perfect idea and come up with all of the tactics and watch YouTube videos and all that stuff. Before any of that, you need to know where the hell you're going. Most people do not have a destination. They see people online. They're not even goals that they want. They see some dude at the club and they see a 30-second clip of them around with girls and whatever. And that might be something that they maybe want, maybe for a night, but you need to get really specific. And so the first thing you need to do is understand the self. What is it that you actually want? If you could rinse, repeat your day, your life over the course of a week or a month, day over day over day, what does your average day look like? Okay. How do you want to dress? How do you want to act? What are you spending your time on? How would you make things? What are you doing to make money? How are you doing that? One question I love asking is what matters to you, but specifically, what would make your life materially worse if you didn't have it? And this is actually where I think if you are writing down a dollar number on that list, then you are not understanding the exercise. I'll give you an example. For me, some things that would make my life materially worse if I did not have it. I like nice dinners. I want to be able to go to any nice dinner whenever I want. I want a partner and I want to raise a family. If I don't have a family, my life would be materially worse. I want to feel energized and move my body every single day. If I don't do that, my life would be materially worse. You can put things on the list that are products of the money that you are earning. But by the end of the list, that list shouldn't be about, oh, I have $1 million. Because the point is you want to get to a life where the money will pay for what's on that list. You don't need to worry about it, right? If I'm eating at every nice dinner and I've got a loving family and I have a business that I love showing up to and I've got a great body and I'm in great health, what the hell do I need money for, right? Obviously, I'm going to get money to do those things, but that's what you need to think about when you're creating that list. What would make your life materially worse if you did not have it, okay? What does your life look like in 4 years, in a 30-day span? What are you doing? How are you acting? How are you behaving? All of that, okay? That's step one, understand the self. Number two, this is where we now break it down into a 12-month vision. Okay. And again, this is where I'd like to break it up into health, wealth, and relationships. So I'll give you some examples for me. For wealth, I have two businesses. In one of them, I want to make over $100,000 profit. And the other, I want to make over $25,000 profit. And in one of them, I want to have closed over a $10 million finance deal, at least once this year. Then under health, I want to be at 170. I want to be at 12% body fat. I want to work with a trainer that will help me with my lower back disc rehab, as well as getting bigger and building out that kind of physique that I want. So I want to be mobile and also look good. And I want to get back into Muay Thai. I've been sidelined because of this injury. And then the last thing, relationships. I want to find a dream partner. I want to go to an F1 race. I want to spend 2 months in a different country. And I want to move to a city before the end of the year. And at this point, what you want to be doing is writing down the list of the things that you want to accomplish this year, right? The 12-month plan. In 12 months in health, wealth, and relationships, what do you want to do? Okay. And at this point, I actually do recommend you use AI. Say, hey, these are all the things I want to do. You are just going to listen and ingest and then have them ingest it. Don't have them respond. Don't have them give you feedback. None of that stuff. Just say ingest it and then keep going. Step number two, you're going to focus on just Q1. Okay. And if it's, February or March or whatever, just 3 months out, you're going to plan from, 3 weeks from today. That's when your 3 months out plan begins. 3 weeks from today, that's when your 3 months out plan begins. What you are going to want to do is now, having put all those 12-month goals in, you want to say, in Q1, these are the goals I'm going to do. And you need to do a little bit of backpedaling here and say, okay, well, what would I need to have done in Q1 to make it unreasonable for me to hit these goals by Q4? So then what you'll do is put together a list of those goals in Q1, and then you'll say, ask me questions that would help you determine what would make it unreasonable for me to hit these goals. You want to make it so that they give you a plan where if you do those things, there's no way you can fail. You can always add the limitations, right? If they say, oh, just make 1,000 calls a day, obviously you can't do that. You'll have to give them those guardrails. But this is all you need to do right now. Come up with your goals in Q1 and then tell them to ask you questions. So the goals, if you use my example, for Q1 could be this. My first business, I want to make $20,000 a month profit. My second business, I want to make $10,000 a month profit. And I want to start getting credentialed for a finance deal. In health, I want to get a diet built out with a nutritionist, and I want to have found and start working with the trainer that will get me in shape so that I will be rehabbing and be able to get back into Muay Thai. And then for relationships, first thing I would do is probably change up my wardrobe to kind of get me closer to that vision of myself. And I would pick the race that I want to go see for Formula One, and I'll figure out what months I want to start traveling in. That's it. You don't need to say you're going to have a six-pack in the first 2 months. Just baby step it, okay? Start building momentum. See what's reasonable, and even ask it what's reasonable if you think that's something that you can't do. So now you know what I need to have done in Q1 to have reached these goals by the end of the year. And so now you need to figure out, what do I need to have done in month one to make it unreasonable for me to not hit these goals in Q1? And that's a question you can pose to the AI to help you plan. Again, don't just take what it says as law. Give it feedback, right? I had this when I said I wanted to close a finance deal. They said, cool, close 3 finance deals in the first month. That's not going to work. Finance deals take 2, 3, maybe 4 months to close. So it's not going to just up and appear right away. And oftentimes you actually want to plan so that you are getting the goal done for the year by Q3. Because if you have a plan where you shoot for the stars, where you're going to hit your yearly goals by Q3 and you miss, you'll probably hit them by Q4, right? You'll have so much momentum that you want to do it by Q4. So then when it comes to month one, you need to start giving it your own inputs and use a little bit of critical thinking here. Again, so if you want to make $100,000 a month in business number one, I'm going to need to start hiring for people that can do my outbound for me and also help me manage that so that I can focus on sales calls. Okay. So those are two roles that I need to open up. And that tells me that over the next couple of weeks, that's something that I'm going to need to build up to. In business number two, I'm going to need to bring in someone that can operate and fulfill for more clients again, so that I can focus on more sales calls, right? So that's another rec I need to have open, and I need to build up to be able to pay for that role. And then I might need to find someone who can help me get finance credentialing, right? Then we look at health. In a month, I want to have found that nutritionist and I want to have found a trainer that can do the rehab that I'm looking for. So I'll just spend time. I'll block out an hour, hour and a half, and look for people online that can do that. And then with relationships, again, baby steps, right? Even just picking the budget that I'm going to use for my new wardrobe is good. I'll pick the race, like I said. That's it, something simple. And I'll just plan to have a couple months. Where are my windows that I can go and travel if I want to live in a new city or live in a new country? So that's where you should set that up. And this is the last part of setup here. You have your yearly goals. You have your Q1 goal that is leading up to a Q3 finish. You have your month one goal that is leading up to your Q1 goals. Now you need to break down your month one goals week by week. You need to know what you need to have done in the next 30 days. So what do you need to do week by week by week to make sure it's unreasonable for you not to hit your month one goals? Your day gets filled with bullshit, and you need to find ways and blocks of time that you can attack the things that are important. And every single week, you need to recalibrate and make sure that it's done. So this could be, again, writing out the job recommendation for the roles I need to find. It could be sitting and finding an hour or two twice a week where I can look up the trainers and the nutritionists that I want, right? Find these little blocks of these little baby steps and just plot them into your calendar. And then lastly, you have all this stuff in AI now. So what I like to do is every week I will sit there and I'll say, hey, it's this day. This is what I've done towards that goal. I want you to make sure I'm on pace or not on pace, or tell me why I wouldn't be on pace based on what I told you before and what I've done this week. And you do that every single week. You sit there and have it recalibrate. Some things are going to go way better. At this stage right now, one of my businesses, I was hoping to get to $20,000 a month in profit by the end of the year. And I'll probably do that by the end of the quarter for sure. On the other business though, things haven't moved as quickly, right? I haven't been able to find roles the same way. And that needs to be calibrated, right? So things are going to change, but you need to always be kind of steering the ship back and forth. You're not going to be able to control how it happens, but you can control what you put into it to see how it happens. But again, I want to reiterate, everything here needs to be thought of as a system. Okay. So if you are sitting here and you have no business, you have no method of going out and dating, you've got no method of getting in the shape that you want, or you have no mechanism to do it, you have no idea where to start, you need to start thinking of it as systems. If you are fat, you have a bad health system. So you need to find a better health system and apply it. And that's your next step. If you don't have any method of making money, you have no business, then you need to find a new business system, a new wealth making system. And that might be the only thing you need to focus on, right? By Q1, you will have found it out. So month one, you're going to go and do some testing, et cetera, et cetera. You need to start getting into a place where you are, if you don't have a system, you find a system. Once you have a system, then it's just about inputs and bottlenecks. So that is probably the best plan you could use, down to the day-to-day action that you will need to accomplish what it is that you want. There is really no reason why you can't sit and just keep yourself accountable with all of the tools that are at your disposal. It's just a matter of fitting it into your day, right? And if you need to adjust your goal because it's totally unreasonable, you want to make $1 billion, by the end of the year, and you've never started a business before, that might be a little more difficult, right? But at least you'll be able to see how it can break down, and you can apply pretty much any goal to that. So if you have any questions on this, please do reach out. I'm excited to share my goals with you. Everything I just said, those are all real goals that I have for this year. And we'll see. We'll see. I have full confidence that we'll be able to do this year. But it's not going to be without a lot of planning, a lot of recalibrating, and a lot of struggle, right? This is going to be a hard thing to do, but at least I know week to week what I need to be doing and getting done, and I'll be able to know if I'm falling off pace. If I don't have a role hired by a certain date, you'll have a system now that you can look into and say, oh, I needed to have that done, or I need to focus on this week. And that's the beauty of this. So please use it. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm always here to help you, and all the best this year.